generations,
Right.
that ye may know that I am the Most High, that doeth sanctify you.
Right. Read.
Ye shall keep the Sabbath therefore, for it is holy unto you.
Because it's separate unto us, right? It's supposed to be kept differently from the other days of the week. What are some things we can't do on the Sabbath? What are some things? I don't want to have to pick anybody. Cook. What else? What else? What? Pleasure. Read. What else? Right? What are we supposed to do on the Sabbath? What things can we do on the Sabbath? We're supposed to congregate. Read. What else? Worship. Read. All right, read.
Sabbath day is a
Feast day. All right, read.
A lot of people like to fast on the Sabbath.
What's going on?
Can't be fast on the Sabbath.
Come on.
It's a feast day.
The book of Exodus, chapter 31 and 14.
Right.
Ye shall keep the Sabbath therefore, for it is holy unto you.
Right.
Everyone that defileth it,
Everyone that do what?
defileth it,
Right.
shall surely be put to death.
Shall surely be what?
Put to death.
You're going to be put to death. Right now we have the time of mercy. We in grace right now. Sometimes we have obligations. But that doesn't excuse the fact we still got to keep the Sabbath. Yes, sis.
I know it's a dumb question, but I mean, just like Esau alters the months of the year, is it possible that he possibly did that to 2 days a week as well?
There's a possibility. There's a chance. We can't put nothing past the devil. His purpose was being created to make us fall into sin. Their job is to be the wicked. The Most High said Esau is the borderline of wickedness. We can't put nothing past our adversary. As long as we stay in sin, they're going to be CEOs. They're going to be ruling over us. They're going to beat us down. As long as we stay in sin. We can't put nothing past our enemy. Continue reading when you're at Exodus.
The book of Exodus, chapter 31 and 14. Ye shall keep the Sabbath therefore,
Right.
for it is holy unto you.
Because it's separate, read.
Everyone that defileth it shall surely be put to death.
And they're going to be put to death because this whole world is going to have to do it. Give me Isaiah 66:23. We're going to prove that. One day the whole world is going to be keeping our tabernacles. The Day of Atonement, the Passover, the Pentecost, the Sabbath. And when they violate, just like when we break their laws, we go to jail for like 150 years. They're going to bury in our prisons, right? When they break our Sabbath, when they want to eat unclean things. When they break our laws, they're going to have to pay just like we have to pay. Right? Even Isaiah 66, verse 23.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 66 and verse 23.
Right?
And it shall come to pass that from one new moon to another, and from one Sabbath to another, shall all flesh come to worship before me,
Right?
saith the Most High.
Right?
And they shall go forth and look upon the carcasses of the men.
They're going to look at the what?
The carcasses of the men
They're going to look at these certain men, right? Read.
that have transgressed.
That have what?
Transgressed.
That said, oh, we're not going to keep these people's laws. We're not going to keep their Sabbath. I want to eat my pork ribs on the Sabbath. Read.
Against me,
Right?
for their worm shall not die,
For their worms are not going to die, right? Read.
neither shall their fire be quenched,
Right? Read.
and they shall be in abhorring,
Right?
unto all flesh.
They're going to be made an example to all flesh on this earth. All kingdoms on this earth going to look at them like, damn, if I don't keep these Hebrews' laws, if I don't serve the Most High these Hebrews, I'm going to be put to death. What's the precept?
I got a precept. Joshua chapter 1 and verse 18. The book of Joshua chapter 1 and 18. Whosoever he be that doeth rebel against thy commandments, and will not hearken unto thy words in all that thou commandest him,
Right?
he shall be put to death.
He should be what?
Put to death.
He should be what?
Put to death.
And we're not going to feel bad. Just like they don't feel bad for us when we get sentenced in jail, we're not going to feel bad for them because there's going to be a righteous judgment in the eyes of our Heavenly Father. Right? Let's get into the book. First give me Zephaniah 2:1, and then we'll go to the portion. Zephaniah 2:1. And this is what we're doing right now. Right now, this is beautiful on the side of the Most High. We're coming together as a family. We're coming together under the name of Israel. That's beautiful on the side of the Most High. Zephaniah 2, verse 1.
The book of Zephaniah, chapter 2 and verse 1. Gather yourselves together.
Do it.
Gather yourselves together.
Read.
Yea, gather together, O nation, not desired.
Read.
Before the decree,
Before the decree. Read.
before the day pass as the chaff,
Right.
before the fierce anger of the Most High come upon
Before the
you.
what?
The fierce anger of the Most High come upon you.
So what happened when the Most High got angry at us when we was in Jerusalem? When we was in the home? He brought us over here as slaves, bond women and bond. Right? Read.
Before the day of the Most High's anger come upon you.
Right?
Seek ye the Most High, all ye meek of the earth.
And that's what we're doing right now. I'm pretty sure we can't be doing our own thing right now. We got probably a lot of you have bills, you probably have an OT, the extra money from the job, but we chose to sanctify today and serve the Most High.
That's right.
That's a beautiful thing in the eyes of Yahweh. Let's get to the verse. Deuteronomy 33, verse 1. Deuteronomy 33, verse 1. Blessed be the power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 33 and verse 1. Deuteronomy 33 and verse 1. And this is the blessing wherewith Moses, the man of Yahweh, blessed the children of Israel before his death.
Right.
And he said, the Most High came from Sinai and rose up from Seir unto them. He shined forth from Mount Paran, and he came with 10,000s of saints. From his right hand went a fiery law for them.
So before Moses is about to die on the mount, what did Moses do that angered the Most High? For those I remember, what did Moses do? He didn't only hit the rock. What did the Most High instruct him to do that he didn't do? He didn't what? Exactly. He didn't exalt the Most High. He took the credit. So Moses is about to give the children of Israel a blessing, right? Each of the tribes through the Most High, right before he passed away. Right? We continue reading.
Verse 3. Yea, he loved the people, all his saints are in thy hand.
Right.
And they sat down at thy feet. Every one shall receive of thy words. Verse 4. Moses commanded us a law, even the inheritance of the congregation of Jacob.
Right.
And he was king in Jeshurun, when the heads of the people and the tribes of Israel were gathered together. Let Reuben live.
Let Reuben what?
Let Reuben live.
So who's Reuben? Well, that's the firstborn of Israel. Reuben today would be who? Who's Reuben today? The Seminole Indians that inhabited Florida. So Moses is about to give them a blessing. What's the blessing Moses gave them?
Let Reuben live and not die.
And not what?
And not die.
And read.
And let not his men be few.
And Moses, I told Moses, because Moses not to let Reuben men be few. Because what did Reuben do in Genesis? That was evil. What did he do?
His father's wife.
He slept with his father's wife. He committed what? A sin, a trespass in the eyes of the Most High. Jacob never forgot that. Give me first, let's prove that. Give me Genesis 35:22.
The book of Genesis, chapter 35 and verse 22. Genesis 35, verse 22. And it came to pass, when Israel dwelt in that land, that Reuben went and lay with Bilhah, his father's concubine.
So Reuben committed what? Adultery. What's the punishment for adultery? It's death, right? But what did Moses told Moses to do? Read it again. Deuteronomy 33.
Book of Deuteronomy, chapter 35, verse 22. And it came to pass, when Israel dwelt in the land.
Deuteronomy 33, verse 6. Back to Reuben. Blessing.
Oh, it's like Deuteronomy. Okay.
Yes. Go back to Deuteronomy.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 33 and verse 6. Let Reuben live,
right,
and not die,
right,
and let not his men be few.
Because at one point, the whole Florida was inhabited with Reuben. Nowadays, we don't see Reuben like that. How many Reubenites is in here right now? None. They're around, we just don't know. Because Reuben was a warrior's people. Reuben was down to fight. They didn't go down like no punks when Esau came to them. We're going to prove that. Give me 1 Chronicles 5 and 18.
Bring it out.
1 Chronicles 5 and 18. And a lot of these movies, they just show that what Esau just came with the guns, the straps, and just annihilated the Native Americans. If you go deep into the history, it took like 10 Edomites to take down one Reubenite or one Gadite. They couldn't compete. They were saying that Reuben was running faster than horses. Give me 1 Chronicles 5:18.
The book.
The book of 1 Chronicles, chapter 5 and verse 18. 1 Chronicles, chapter 5 and verse 18.
Right.
The sons of Reuben and the Gadites and half the tribe of Manasseh, of valiant men able to bear buckler and sword.
That do what?
Men able to bear buckler and sword.
Right.
And to shoot with bow.
Right.
And skillful in war.
Skillful in what?
Skillful in war.
So the tribe of Reuben was very war. They were very war people, man.
Mm-hmm.
They got down. When Esau came over, they put them to flight.
That's right.
But why you don't see them no more? But they're still around though. The most I say they're not going to be completely wiped out as a tribe. They're still going to be here in the last days. They're going to be here in Israel when we go over deep. Continue reading.
Were 440,703 that went out to the war.
Go back to read where that in Deuteronomy. Let's continue reading.
Deuteronomy chapter 33 and verse 7. And this is the blessing of Yahweh.
Right? Who's Judah? Who's Yahweh? Who's Judah? Who's Judah? Who's the tribe of Judah? There's a lot of Judites in here. Who's Judah?
Black.
Thank you. I thought he was going to say it. That's all. But Judah is the so-called Negroes that went to slavery in America. Right? Read.
And this is the blessing of Judah. And he said, hear, Most High, the voice of Judah, and bring him unto his people.
And bring him unto his what?
People.
Read.
Let his hands be sufficient for him.
Right.
And be thou and help to him from his enemies.
So Judah was the head tribe. Judah was a man. When we left Egypt, Judah overpopulated the other tribes. And in these last days, who's the pioneers of this truth? A lot of these men that brought out the Most High used to bring out this truth were Judites.
That's right.
The Most High said, let his hands be sufficient enough for his work. Calm down, now. The Most High said, let their hands be sufficient to do his work. So Judah, the head tribe. What tribe is our Savior from? From Judah. Judah's the man. Judah's still going to be a head tribe. Continue reading.
Verse 8. And of Levi.
And what?
And of Levi.
And of what?
And of Levi.
And of Levi, read.
He said, let thy Thummim and thy Urim be with thy Holy One.
Let that what?
Let thy Thummim and thy Urim be with thy Holy One, whom thou didst prove at Massah.
Let's hold that. Do anybody know what a Thummim and a Urim is? The Thummim and the Urim was what the high priest had. The two stones set on La'ah or come to get instructions from the Most High in the Torah. So the Most High is telling Levi, who's Levi today? The so-called Haitians. He said, let you love Urim and that Thummim. Let your connection be strong with the Holy One. That's why if anybody have any Levite friends, a lot of them are spiritual. A lot of the times they get dreams of things that's going to come. If anybody really dwell with Levi like that, they're very spiritual people, and they always had a zeal connection to the Most High. Sometimes, I can make a testimony. My mom will have to say, "Oh, I had a dream you did this and do that." I ain't tell her, but it really happened. But that dream she had really just happened. You feel me? But it takes a lot. You have to really hang around with a lot of Levites to really peep what the Most High is saying right here in the scripture. But the Most High is saying, let their connection, their spirituality be strong with the Holy. Read.
And with whom thou didst strive at the waters of Meribah.
Right.
Verse 9. Who said unto his father and to his mother,
right.
I have not seen him.
I have not what?
Seen him.
Right.
Neither did he acknowledge his brethren.
Don't do what?
Neither did he acknowledge his brethren.
So the Most High is saying that Levi don't really acknowledge their brother. That's why sometimes you see us, we usually come up together. We don't really hang out with the other tribes like that. That's just how we are as a tribe. If you really notice, really like we really just stay together. And if you work at a workplace, anybody usually speaking crowd with each other. They don't really want to mess with Judah. They don't really want to mess with Benjamin. They don't really want to mess with Ephraim. They just stay to themselves. Continue reading.
Nor knew his own children.
Right.
For they have observed thy word and kept thy covenant.
So the Most High is speaking what happened in Jeroboam when Aaron was making, when Aaron made the gold calf. What happened when Aaron made the gold calf and Moses came down? Let's get that. Exodus 32:26. Let's find out what happened. Precept upon precept. Verse 25.
The book of Exodus, chapter 32 and verse 25. And when Moses saw that the people were naked, for Aaron had made them naked unto their shame among their enemies.
So this is after Aaron had made the golden calf. After the people came up against Aaron and they instructed him like, yo, you better make this idol for us. Moses just received the law, statute, commandments from the Most High. He's coming down.
Yeah.
Right? Read.
Then Moses stood in the gate of the camp and said, who is on the Most High side?
Right.
Let him come unto me.
Right.
And all the sons of Levi, all the sons of Levi,
right,
gathered themselves together unto him.
So that's when the Most High proved the sons of Levi. When he said, yo, who's down with the Most High? Well, the whole tribe went to the right hand side of Moses. If you continue reading the story, Moses instructed them like, yo, whoever down with this calf business, go through the tent and put them to death, and that's it. Let's go back to Deuteronomy.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 33 and verse 10. They shall teach Jacob thy judgments.
Thy what?
Thy judgments.
Thy what?
Thy judgments. And Israel thy law.
Right.
They shall put incense before thee.
Right.
And hold burnt sacrifice upon thine altar.
So their job was to do the priesthood. Their job was to do the sacrifices of the people, their burnt offerings, or wave offerings. They're supposed to take care of the temple. Now what are they doing these last days? They're doing witchcraft. They're trying to turn people to cows and chickens and doing all that nonsense. Most I never instructed them to do that. That wasn't their job. Give me Malachi chapter 2, verse 1 real quick. Malachi chapter 2, verse 1.
The book of Malachi, chapter 2 and verse 1. And now, O ye priests, the commandment is for you. If ye will not hear, and if you will not lay it to heart, to give glory unto my name, saith the Most High of Hosts, I will even send a curse upon you, and I will curse your blessings.
Right.
Yea, I have cursed them already, because ye do not lay it to heart.
Right.
Behold, I will corrupt your seed, and spread dung up on your faces.
So the Most High is cursing them out like, yo, I didn't tell you to do all this. I didn't tell you to do all these wicked sacrifices. I didn't tell you to do that with the incense. They want to corrupt the covenant the Most High gave with them to do the priesthood. Jump on verse 7.
Verse 7.
Let's see what they were supposed to do. Read.
For the priest's lips should keep knowledge,
Right.
and they should seek the law at his mouth.
And who's the they? When at that time, when we had the temple, the people were supposed to come to it. Levi like, yo, what's the understanding of this law right here in the Torah? They supposed to know the answer. Continue reading.
For he is the messenger of the Most High of Hosts.
Right.
But ye are departed out of the way.
Right.
Ye have caused many to stumble
Right.
at the law.
Right.
Ye have corrupted the covenant of Levi.
You have what?
Ye have corrupted the covenant of Levi,
Right.
saith the Most High of Hosts.
Right. Go back to Deuteronomy 33. Back to Deuteronomy 33. I believe you're on 11, verse 11.
Yeah.
Okay. The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 33 and verse 11. Bless the Most High, his substance, and accept the work of his hands.
Right.
Smite through the loins of them.
Do the what?
Smite through the loins of them that rise against him,
Right.
and of them that hate him, that they rise not again.
Do anybody want to take a guess what that means? If I give the answer. When the Most High told them, smite the loins of them that hate him, that they don't rise up again. When was this fulfilled? When did this happen? in history with the Levites? You know the answer. Who did they war against that they didn't rise up again? The what? When the French Revolution. The Most High told them, like, yo, you're going to smite them, they're not going to rise up again. Are there world power? Do they have the same strength we used to have back in the days? No. Because they lost against to the Levites, they lost a lot of land over them. They fell, they declined. Read? Yes?
Then I'm trying to figure out, because I know I believe it's a lie spread by Esau about the tribe of Levi in regards to where it all stemmed from that movie, what was it, back in the 80s called Serpent and the Rainbow?
Yeah, I watched it.
And how they're into voodoo and all this crazy crap. And that's how they managed to fight the French and Haiti and stuff like that. I'm trying to figure out how to ask this question. Did the French start that rumor on them because the Levites?
You want to know how they won? Is that what you're asking? How they won?
Yeah, because that's how I heard they won. That they sold the devil out.
I think got two questions. How did they win, and are they into voodoo?
Okay.
I'm gathering from what you're saying.
Deuteronomy, read verse 11 again. How did they win? Let's see how they won.
It's like I'm hearing that about them, and there are people that actually believe that. Even some among them.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 33, and verse 11. Bless the Most High his substance, and accept the work of his hands. Smite through the loins of them that rise against him.
Right.
And of them that hate him, that they rise not again.
That's how they won. Because the Most High gave them that blessing since the time of Moses. That's how they won. Were you paying attention, sis? You gotta pay attention, sis. You want to answer, you gotta pay attention. Yes, sis. 33 verse 11. Read it again.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 33, and verse 11. Bless the Most High his substance, and accept the work of his hands.
Right.
Smite through the loins of them that rise against him.
Do what?
Smite through the loins of them that rise against him.
Right.
And of them that hate him, that they rise not again.
That's how they won. Give me the Most High man of war. Give me that. What are you misunderstanding in the scriptures? Sis? Give me that scripture. We're gonna prove it. Because our power is a man of war. The Most High is the one that's instructing all these wars on this earth. The Most High decides who wins and who loses.
That's right.
Everything in our lives is a fight. What happened with them winning against the French? It was already prophesied.
Mm-hmm.
That was their blessing. They were going to rise up against their enemies and put them to death. Give me that open.
The book of Exodus, chapter 15 and verse 3. Exodus 15 and verse 3.
Right.
The Most High is a man of war.
Is a what?
A man of war.
Is a what?
A man of war.
Most High is a man of war. When we left Egypt, when these nations were rised up against us, we didn't just stand there and take it. Now, in today's time, we take it. Because these nations made us docile. Back then, we didn't take that from these other nations. Yeah. They rise up against us. They wanted war. They're going to find war, and they're going to get it. I'm sorry?
When he took us out of bondage from Egypt.
Was that
We had to walk that.
when we had the ark?
Not yet.
And doing what? When we left Egypt?
Not yet. We didn't have it.
No, when he mentioned you didn't have to.
When we left Egypt, the Most High was on our side. That's why we was winning on these wars. Now the Most High is not really dying to us.
Yeah.
The ark is coming back when the Most High redeems us.
You can
No, the ark.
Jeremiah hit it. Give me that in the prophet.
He hit it in the mouth. Notice you were saying, when did the ark came?
That was during the time when we was in the wilderness. The Most High instructed a Judite and I believe it was a Danite to create the ark.
It didn't come when we came out of Egypt. It came later while we were in the wilderness.
While we were still in the wilderness, that's when the Most High started constructing the ark. Hold on. You clear, sis? All right, back in Deuteronomy.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 33 and verse 12. Deuteronomy chapter 33 and verse 12. And of Benjamin.
And of who?
And of Benjamin.
And of who?
And of Benjamin.
Who's Benjamin? So-called West Indians, Jamaicans, Trinidadians, Guyana, St. Lucia, St. Croix, St. Paul, Mordecai, Esther, Saul, the mighty tribe of Benjamin, right? Read it again.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 33 and verse 12.
Right?
And of Benjamin.
And of who?
And of Benjamin.
Right?
He said, the beloved of the Most High.
The who?
The beloved of the Most High.
Who was the youngest son of the children of Israel? Benjamin was treated special. When Joseph was in Egypt, Joseph gave Benjamin double. Jacob didn't even want Benjamin to go. Benjamin is the beloved of the Most High, right? Read.
Shall dwell in the safety by him.
They shall what?
Shall dwell in safety by him.
Most High say Benjamin gonna dwell safety. They're not gonna have no problems where they at. They're gonna be good in these last days. They're gonna be all right. Right? Continue reading.
And the Most High shall cover him all the day long.
He don't do what?
Cover him all the day long.
Right?
And he shall dwell between his shoulders.
Right?
And of Joseph, he said.
Who's Joseph? Who's Joseph? Ephraim Manasseh. Read.
And of Joseph, he said, blessed of the Most High be his land.
Blessed be what?
Blessed of the Most High be his land.
Right?
For the precious things of heaven, for the dew, and for the deep that couches beneath, and for the precious fruits brought forth by the sun,
right? And
for the precious things put forth by the moon.
So what is the Most High saying about the house of Joseph right now? What is he saying about them? How's he blessing them? With what? The riches, good resources, beautiful land, beautiful vegetation. One side basically saying their big land's gonna be good. They're gonna have everything they need. Prior before the Spaniards came there and destroyed and took everything. Right? We're gonna touch on Ephraim a little bit. Because of people, the way people see Ephraim nowadays, these northern tribes, they believe what they're heathen. They were all Negro, they all look like us, like Levi, like Judah, like Benjamin. Give me Hosea 7 and 8 real quick. Because a lot of our people believe these northern tribes have to be dark for them to be Israel. Like I have nappy hair and big lips to be Israel. That's not true. All the 12 tribes of Israel, we all look a little different. We're the same family, but we all look a little bit different. There's some Ephraimites who don't look light skin, but some Ephraimites who don't look like Malachi. They don't look a little dark skin. Right? Give me Hosea 7 and 8 real quick.
The book of Hosea, chapter 7 and verse 8.
Right?
Ephraim,
read.
He hath mixed himself among the people.
He has what?
Mixed himself among the people.
Right? When the Spaniards came over there, they started what? Assimilating with them. It is not only talking about Ephraim, it's talking about the whole northern tribes. Esau came over there and went and assimilated with them. Nowadays, northern tribes, they assimilate with the heathens, that was no problem. That's what made them look a little different. But continue reading.
Ephraim is a cake not turned.
So what's specific about a cake not turned? It's light and what else? Dark. And it's dark, got little swirls in it. The northern tribes, they're gonna look a little light, they're gonna look a little dark. There's gonna be something like Sister Abiyah, there's gonna be something that's like, they look like Kadash. They're gonna look different. Give me Jeremiah 12, verse 9 real quick, too. That's where the doctrine will come out. The 10 tribes are still in Africa. The 12 tribes is only Negro. That's where that doctrine comes from. Because people like understanding in the scripture. I just felt like it was important to touch on that a little bit. Because when people see a light-skinned northern tribe, they get a little, is that Esau? They're ready to strike.
I agree. That was a good thing to bring up. Yeah. That's a lot of Israel has a lot of ignorance with that.
A lot of people are ignorant. Read.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 12 and verse 9.
Right.
Mine heritage is unto me as a speckled bird. The birds round about are against her. Come ye, assemble all the beasts of the field, come to the bower.
So what's the speckled bird? What's the significance of that? Why did the Most High use a speckled bird? Different colors. Israel will look all types of ways. There's going to be Israelites who look like Joseph and Bush in the kingdom. There's going to be some that look like Shaquille O'Neal in the kingdom. Israel's going all types of ways. That's when the Revelations, when they talk about that great mixed multitude, that's Israelites coming from all over throughout the four corners of this earth. And looks all types of ways. Go back to Daniel 9:7. In the scriptures, they refer that as confusion of face. When an Israelite or a nation don't look exactly how the rest of their brethren look. Daniel 9:7.
The book of Daniel, chapter 9 and verse 7.
Right.
O Yahweh, righteousness belongeth unto thee, but unto us confusion of faces.
Of what?
Confusion of faces.
Of what?
Confusion of faces.
There's going to be Israelites who look like Esau, Elam, Moab, and Ishmael. At the end of the day, we still our brothers. What makes you an Israelite?
Wow.
Numbers 1:18. Let's prove that. What makes you an Israelite? It doesn't matter if somebody got hair long down to their back. If their father's an Israelite, they're an Israelite. They are brothers. They have as much right into the kingdom as us. Right, come. Numbers 1:18.
The book of Numbers, chapter 1 and verse 18. And they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month.
Right.
And they declared their pedigrees.
Their what?
Their pedigrees.
Their what?
Their pedigrees.
Right.
After their families by the house of their fathers, according to the number of the names from 20 years old and upward by their polls.
Let's go back to Deuteronomy 3:33-15. Everybody understand that, right? If there's this brother that come in here with blonde hair and blue eyes, and his father is darker than us, and he's an Israelite, what does that make him? That makes him a Hebrew. And we got to show him as much love as the next brother or the next sister. Yes, sis.
I'm sure a lot of Edomites will probably try to pretend that they're already doing it now.
Right. So how are we going to be able to do it? Right? We're going to see. Give me Matthew 13:37. Let's see how it's going to happen. Let's let the scriptures talk. Let's give her a cool cut. Matthew 13:37. Let's get there.
The book of Matthew.
It's 47, so I keep
The book of Matthew, chapter 13 and verse 47. Matthew 13 and 47. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a net that was cast into the sea and gathered of every kind.
So when you catch something into the sea, right, to go fishing, you don't know what you really catch. You're going to be catching all types of things, all right? Read.
Which, when it was full, they drew to shore,
right,
and sat down,
right,
and gathered the good into vessels, but cast the bad away.
So in these last days, the Most High is going to cast the good into the good vessel on his right hand, and then the bad on his left. There's more to it. Continue reading.
Verse 49. So shall it be at the end.
In the what?
At the end.
In the what?
At the end
Read.
Of the world.
Right.
The angel shall come forth and sever the wicked.
The what?
Sever the wicked.
The wicked, right? Read.
From among the just.
So the Most High is going to be able to separate. The Most High is aware of everything that go on this earth. Ain't no Edomites going to be able to sneak into the kingdom and sit next to Yahweh Shah. That's not going down. Give me Shabbat 23:19. Huh. We're going to get that after. Esau not going to be sneaking in. He's not going to be sharing lamb with us in the Passover right next to us. We got the back door for him. Ain't that type of party. 23:19? Yeah.
The book of Sirach, chapter 23 and verse 19.
Right.
Ecclesiasticus, that's page 84, chapter 23 and verse 19. Such a man only for the eyes of men.
So we're only worried about what we see. Oh, is that an Edomite? Is that an Israelite? Oh, I don't know.
And knoweth not that the eyes of the Most High,
That the eyes of who?
the Most High,
The Most High.
are 10,000 times brighter than the sun.
Or 10 times brighter than what?
Than the sun.
In the sun, because the Most High is aware of everything that goes on this earth. The Most High is very aware. There's spirits all around us. There's angels camped around us right now. Just because we don't see them, that don't mean they're not there. That don't mean they're not aware of what's going on this earth. Right? Give me that scripture, Matthew 25:31. Let's just further prove that for the sister. Answer her question. That was a good precept. Matthew 25:31.
The book of Matthew, chapter 25 and verse 31.
Right.
When the Son of Man shall come in his glory,
Right.
and all the holy angels with him,
Right.
then shall he sit upon the throne of his glory.
Right.
And before him shall be gathered all nations.
All what?
All nations.
All what?
All nations.
Esau's included, sis. Read.
And he shall separate them one from another,
Right.
as a shepherd divideth his sheep from the goats.
So the Most High, through Mashiach Yahweh, he's going to separate the wicked from the righteous. Israel from the nations, the heathens. He's going to be able to separate them. So you understand that so far, sis? You understand? You wrote down the precepts? Come. Let's go back to Deuteronomy. You want me 33:15, I believe you know.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 33 and verse 15. And for the chief things of the ancient mountains,
Right.
and for the precious things of the lasting hills,
Right.
and for the precious things of the earth and fullness thereof, and for the good will of him that dwells in the bush.
Right.
Let the blessing come upon the head of Joseph, and upon the top of the head of him that was separated from his brethren.
That's talking about when Joseph was separated from his brother when he was sold into Egypt. The Most High just continue on blessing the sons of Joseph. And then he goes back to talk about what happened in Genesis. Who sold Joseph into Egypt? His brothers. Most High just reiterating on that.
Yeah.
Continue.
Verse 17. His glory is like the firstling of his bullock,
Right.
and his horns are like the horns of unicorns.
Right.
With them he shall push the people together.
He shall what?
Push the people together.
Who's the head of the northern tribes? Who's the head of the northern tribes? Ephraim, right? Read.
To the ends of the earth.
Right.
And they are the 10,000s of Ephraim, and they are the thousands of Manasseh.
Continue reading.
Verse 18. And Zebulun, he said, rejoice.
Who's Zebulun? Colombia. I believe Nicaragua.
Yeah.
Nicaragua.
Yeah.
Makes up the sons of Zebulun. Costa Rica.
Yeah, Costa Rica.
Continue reading.
And of Zebulun, he said, rejoice, Zebulun, in thy going out, and Issachar in thy tents.
So the Most High was talking about when Zebulun and Issachar was on this side of the earth. This is after 2nd Ezra 13:40, when they came on this side. Zebulun and Issachar, they used to dwell amongst each other. They used to communicate and dwell and trade amongst each other when it was on this land. Continue reading.
Verse 19. They shall call the people unto the mountain.
They should do what?
Call the people unto the mountain.
Right.
There they shall offer
They should
sacrifices.
do what?
Offer sacrifices
Right.
of righteousness.
Of what?
Of righteousness. Of righteousness.
Because right away when the northern tribes came over here, they wasn't going off right away. It took time before they started going off. Zebulun and Issachar, they were calling each other like, yo, let's go worship our power. They know the Most High. They were going off. They know there's only one power in the heavens. They call him the Great Spirit. That's what the natives were calling the Most High. They were doing righteous sacrifices at first before they started doing what? Sacrificing each other, sacrificing humans, sacrificing unclean things to sun gods, false idols. If you guys want, you guys should watch the movie Apocalypto. That gives you a good idea of what they were doing over here when they started going on. Continue reading.
For they shall suck of the abundance
Of the what?
Suck of the abundance of the seas and of treasures hid in the sand.
So the Most High, their land was full of resources, just like Joseph's land, full of resources. The Most High blessed them. Read.
Verse 20. And of Gad, he said.
And of Gad, who's Gad?
Right here.
Continue reading.
Blessed be he that enlargeth Gad.
Right.
He dwelleth as a lion.
As a what?
As a lion.
As a what?
As a lion.
Read.
And teareth the arm with the crown of the head.
So Gad was just like Reuben. They're down about the fight. Gad didn't go down like no punks either. Give me Psalm 137. Psalm 137. You know what I'm talking about, right? But they were defeated by Esau because why? Moses wasn't on their side over here. Just like when they had to do I believe it's the Trail of Tears, that's recorded right here in the scriptures too. There's something happening just like that to our forefathers. Psalm 137, verse 1.
The book of Psalm 137 and verse 1. By the rivers of Babylon.
By the rivers of what?
Babylon.
What's this country? Spiritual what? Read.
There we sat down.
Right?
Yea, we wept.
We what?
We wept.
Read.
When we remembered Zion.
When they remembered Zion. They knew where their home was. Now we're destroyed by lack of knowledge. They knew where they were from. They knew where they were. Gad was able to tell Esau, like, yo, my brother Joseph reigned right there in the islands. They knew where they were. Read.
We hang our harps upon the willows in the midst thereof.
Right.
For there, they that carried us away captive,
right,
required of us a song.
Right.
And they that wasted us required of us mirth.
They would tell our brothers, like, yo, sing one of those songs of Zion.
Yeah.
Why don't you dance for us before we shoot you? That's what they were doing to our brothers over here. Just like when they were doing to us on the slave ships. When they would make us sing to entertain them.
Yeah.
Read.
Sing us one of those songs of Zion.
Right. What do they say?
How shall we sing the Lord's song,
right, in
a strange land?
Go back to Deuteronomy. Deuteronomy, I believe, verse 20.
Okay. The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 33 and verse 20. And of Gad he said, Blessed be he that enlargeth Gad. He dwelleth as a lion and teareth the arm with the crown of the head. And he provided the first part for himself, because there, in a portion of the lawgiver, was he seated.
Because Gad was about the law. They were just like the tribe of Levi, for northern tribe. They had laws that everybody had to abide by. They had, I believe, it was righteous burial ceremonies. Gad was about the law. That's how they were the very disciplined people. Continue reading.
And he came with the heads of the people. He executed the justice.
He executed the what?
The justice.
What's our justice? How do we execute justice? The law, statutes, commandments. Continue reading.
Of the Most High,
right?
And his judgments with Israel.
Right.
Verse 22. And of Dan, he said. And of Dan, he said. Dan is a lion's whelp.
Is a what?
A lion's whelp.
Dan is a fierce people too. A lot of these northern tribes are fierce people. Who's the famous Danite in the scriptures? Samson. The who? Samson. And Samson? That's Samson. Dan was able to put the Philistines to flight. They didn't want no people with Samson. So read that again about Dan.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 33, verse 22. And of Dan, he said, right. Dan is a lion's whelp.
Is a what?
A lion's whelp.
Dan is like a young lion. A young lion is not scared to step up to nobody. Read.
He shall leap from Bashan.
He shall leap from what?
Bashan.
Right. Read.
And of Naphtali.
Right.
He said, O Naphtali.
Go back to Dan. I want to get a scripture here. Give me 1 Chronicles 12 and 35. A lot of people don't know. The Spartans were Dan. When you watch 300, even though it looks like Esau, that was Dan. I was fighting like that. Dan got down. Esau like to whitewash a lot of things. A lot of these Danites were Spartans. They give an account in the book of Maccabees. Dan was a lot of these Danites were Spartans. They were fierce fighters. And it's recorded in the scriptures too. Yeah, 12 and 35. Yeah, 12 and 35. Esau and these nations, they like to water us down from our credit, from our glory. They steal everything, want to turn everything upside down. They want to tell his story, his side of the story. Read.
The book of First Chronicles, chapter 12, and verse 35.
Right.
And of the Danites, expert in war.
Expert of what?
In war.
Of what?
In war.
Right.
28,600.
Go back to Deuteronomy 33, verse 23. We're in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 33, verse 23. What we're learning, man, a lot of our brothers, man, we got to go back to the scriptures. That's our history right here. When we're able to, when Most High pour out his spirit of wisdom on us, we're able to understand the right side of the story. We understand, yo, we was righteous people. We was a people that was, we about the Most High's business. And when we used to go, when we was leaving Egypt, when the Most High had us in our military, in our armies, we got down. Read.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 33, and verse 23. And of Naphtali he said,
right.
O Naphtali, satisfied with favor and full with the blessing of the Most High,
right.
Possess thou the west and the south.
So the Most High saying that Naphtali's gonna be blessed in their land too. Naphtali's run the industry in cattle. They got good resources. A lot of people, if anybody really met you, yeah, put it up there.
I got it.
Okay. If you meet anybody from the tribe of Naphtali, they're actually good people, man. They're very virtuous people. Continue reading.
I'll let your phone.
Verse 24. And of Asher he said, let Asher be blessed with children. Let him be acceptable to his brethren, and let him dip his foot in oil.
Read that again.
Verse 24. And of Asher he said, let Asher be blessed with children.
Let Asher be blessed with what?
Children.
So when the Most High was saying this, there was a time when the children of Asher, when it was in the South America, they were overpopulated with children. Their government started putting a lot of these children to death. You got to go into that history. A lot of these blessings, even Genesis 49, you have to go into the history to understand a lot of these breakdowns. A lot of things with the scriptures.
Yeah. You
wouldn't know Luke 21:20 was talking about our people migrating to West Coast of Africa unless you went into the history. Right? Continue reading.
Let him be acceptable to his brethren, and let him dip his foot in oil.
Why did the Most High say they let them be acceptable to their brothers? Because a lot of these Asherites, they can't count. They caught you in that forest, you dinner. That's how Asher was moving. A lot of northern tribes were getting down like that because it started going on. Just like Levi started eating griot, doing witchcraft. Benjamin, a lot of Benjamins eating like, what is it, possum, mighty corn? They going on, right? Continue reading.
And let him dip his foot in oil.
Right.
Thy shoes shall be iron and brass.
So the Most I was saying that Naphtali is going to be rich with resources, what? Oil, gold, silver, aluminum.
Yeah.
They're going to be rich with these substances, but they didn't really get to enjoy it because white Spaniards came and took over it, took that from them. Yeah. Most of them gave it to them. Continue reading.
Verse 25. Thy shoes shall be iron and brass, and as thy days, so shall thy strength be.
Right.
Verse 26. There is none like unto the power of Jeshurun,
right,
who rideth upon the heaven in thy help, and in his excellency on the sky.
Right.
The eternal power is thy refuge, and underneath are the everlasting arms, and he shall thrust out the enemy from before thee, and shall say, destroy them. Verse 28. Israel then shall dwell in safety alone. The fountain of Yaquab shall be upon a land of corn and wine.
Of what?
Shall be upon a land of corn and wine.
So the Moses is making an end with Moses giving that blessing. But I wanted him to repeat the land of corn and wine because there's a doctrine out there saying that Israel can't be the land because there was no corn. Moses is saying right here, what is he saying? Read it again.
That's right.
Israel then shall dwell in safety alone. The fountain of Jacob shall be upon a land of corn.
A land of what?
A land of corn,
right,
and wine.
A lot of people believe this is Israel. This was Egypt. Most I say over there have the land of corn. That's the land that the children of Shem is fighting for. Ishmael is fighting over that land for a reason. Amalek is fighting over that land for a reason because they know it rightfully belongs to us. Continue reading.
Also, his heavens shall drop down dew.
Right.
Verse 29. Happy art thou, O Israel, who is like unto thee,
Right.
O people saved by the Most High.
Saved by who?
The Most High.
Right.
The shield of thy help, and who is the sword of thy excellency? And thine enemies shall be found liars unto thee,
right.
And thou shalt tread upon their high places.
So we just finished chapter 33. I don't know if you want to take a quick break. Not yet? Give me Psalm 124, verse 1. Go straight to it? All right, chapter 34. First, let me get Psalm 124, verse 1. I wanted to go on this a little bit. Because a lot of our people, they trust into the sword. They trust in the military might. A lot of people believe we're supposed to fight and get the kingdom right now. I'm not going to give out no names, no L's, or nothing. People believe we're supposed to rebel against Esau right now. They forgot Esau got the nukes. They got the airstrikes. They got all of them. The only way we're going to defeat our enemies, the only way we're going to assert authority on this earth, again, is through the Most High. The Most High is the only reason why we're here able today to keep His law, statutes, commandments. He's the only reason. Psalm 124, verse 1.
The book of Psalm 124 and verse 1.
Right.
If it had not been the Most High,
right, for who?
If it had not been the Most High,
right,
who was on our side,
right.
Now may Israel say, if it had not been the Most High who was on our side, when men rose up against us.
When these nations rise up against us, they throw us in jail, they put us to death, they beat up our brothers in the street. Read.
Then they had swallowed us up quick.
They would have annihilated us. We wouldn't be here today. We wouldn't be able to dwell amongst each other. We wouldn't be in the tabernacle safely. They probably would have been hanging a lot of us on the streets at tabernacle. Read.
When their wrath was kindled against us,
right?
Then the waters had overwhelmed us, the stream had gone over our souls.
Right.
Then the proud waters had gone over our soul.
Give me Zephaniah 3, verse 9. Because only through the Most High and the Mashiach Yahushua, who sits at His right hand, is going to redeem us out of this captivity. Who's going to be our protection, our sword, our hammer, and our shield. Zephaniah 3, verse 9. And that's what we got to wait for. Yahushua said, wait upon me to rise up on the prey.
Right.
We can't take away the honor from the king. He got to strike first. He got to get the first dibs. Zephaniah 3, verse 9.
The book of Zephaniah, chapter 3 and verse 9. For then will I turn to the people
Verse 8, my bad.
Verse 8. The book of Zephaniah, chapter 3, verse 8. Therefore, wait ye upon me, saith the Most High, until the day that I rise up.
Until who?
Until the day that I rise up.
Until Yahweh shall rise up and sent by the Most High. Mm-hmm. Sometimes these nations get out of check. You want to knock them out, but you might be facing time if they call the police. We got to wait until Yahweh shall strike on them first. Read.
Until the day that I will rise up to the prey.
Right.
For my determination is to gather the nations, that I may assemble the kingdoms to pour upon them my indignation.
Right. Let's go back to Deuteronomy 34. Let's wrap it up. Deuteronomy chapter 34, verse 1.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 34, and 1. And Moses went up from the plains of Moab unto the mountain of Nebo, to the top of Pisgah, that is over against Jericho, and the Most High showed him all the land of Gilead unto Dan.
So right before Moses died, Moses told him to go up, take a good look at the land. Take a good look at the beautiful features of this land. The resources, the trees, the brooks, the waters. Continue reading.
And all Naphtali, and the land of Ephraim and Manasseh, and all the land of Judah unto the uttermost sea, and the south, and the plain of the valley of Jericho, the city of palm trees unto Zoar. Right. And the Most High said unto him, this is the land which I swear unto Abraham, unto Isaac, and unto Jacob, saying, I will give it unto thy seed.
Right.
I have caused thee to see it with thine eyes, but thou shalt not go thither.
Most I told him, after you see this, you're not going to take one foot into that land. You disobey me. Even Moses disobeyed the Most High. He had to face punishment. How great are we? If we keep breaking the Most High law, statutes, commandments, this punishment that's going to be laying at the door. Judgment is going to be waiting at the door. And Moses was greater than everybody here. There was no prophet like Moses. Moses spoke to prophets in a dream, but Moses spoke to Moses face to face like he was one of his homeboys. Read.
Verse 5. So Moses, the servant of the Most High, died there in the land of Moab, according to the word of the Most High.
Right.
And he buried him in a valley in the land of Moab, over against Beth Peor, that no man knoweth of his sepulchre unto this day.
So Moses was saying that nobody would know where Moses' burial place was. Continue reading.
Verse 7. And Moses was 120 years old.
He lived a full life, 120 years old, right? Continue reading.
When he died. His eye was not dim, nor his natural force abated.
So what was the Most High saying right here about Moses?
He had his strength.
He had his strength. He was like he was still 20 years old.
He seemed like he was a kid.
Exactly, and he was 120 years old. Continue reading.
Black don't crack. Verse 34, verse 8. The children of Israel wept for Moses in the plains of Moab 30 days.
Right.
So the days of weeping and mourning for Moses were ended. Verse 9. And Joshua the son of Nun was full of the spirit of wisdom.
So after Moses died, Moses told Moses, like, yo, Joshua's gonna take over. Joshua gonna be that militant leader that take us into the land and help you conquer this land and distribute it to the children of Israel. Continue reading.
For Moses had laid his hands upon him.
Right.
And the children of Israel hearkened unto him,
Right.
and did as the Most High commanded Moses. Verse 10. And there arose not a prophet since in Israel like unto Moses,
Right.
whom the Most High knew face to face. And all the signs and the wonders which the Most High sent him to do in the land of Egypt to Pharaoh and to all his servants and to all his land. And in all that mighty hand, and in all the great terror which Moses shewed in the sight of Israel.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have a question?
Yeah, back to number 6, it says that he said he buried him. He is who?
I'm sorry?
Number 6, 34 and 6.
Joshua was with him. That was who was with Moses up there.
Oh, okay.
I'm talking around 18.
When you found him there?
Yeah.
By your house?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Then read around same chapter 30.
Yeah, I got that.
Yeah.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 18 and verse 15. The Most High that power will raise up unto thee a prophet.
Hold up. Everybody's there? Go on. All right, read it.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 18 and verse 15. The Most High that power will raise up unto thee a prophet.
A what?
A prophet
All right.
from the midst of thee,
Right.
of thy brethren, like unto me.
Right.
Unto him ye shall hearken.
So the Most High said in these last days, he's gonna raise up a prophet like unto us. He's gonna be in the same, he's gonna be of the same nation as us. What is he talking about?
Yahushua.
You got a precept to prove that? Give me Hebrews 2:14 and Romans 1 and 3. Let's prove this. It was Yahushua. Because people believe that Yahushua came off an angel. Angel seen Mary, then they had Yahushua. The scripture right here is talking about Yahushua. It was prophesied about Yahushua. Yahushua is spoken about from Genesis to Revelation. That's why he said, "Look, I come in upon you with a book."
That's right.
Read.
The book of Hebrews, chapter 2, verse 14. Hebrews 2 and 14. For as much then as the children are partakers of flesh and blood, he also himself likewise took part of the same.
So it said that Yahushua would be what? Born of flesh and blood, just like us. Read.
That through death, that through death, he might destroy him that had the power of death,
Right.
that is, the devil.
Now give me Romans 1 and 3. That's some more. Romans 1 verse 3. That this was Yahushua that was to be raised up amongst us. In Revelation 22:16.
The book of Romans, chapter 1 and verse 3. Concerning his son, Hamashiach Yahushua, on either one, which was made of the seed of David.
Made of the seed of what?
David,
He came from the family of David. What tribe was David? Judah, right? Read.
according to the flesh.
You said Matthew 5:47? St. John 5:47. 46. A lot of people don't, a lot of these Old Testament Israelites, they don't see Yahweh in the scripture. Yahweh was right here being spoken about. He was that right arm that the Most High put above us in that cherub. That was him the whole time.
The book of John, chapter 5, and verse 46. For had ye believed Moses,
Yahweh said, if you had listened to Moses, what Moses was telling you in Deuteronomy 18:15,
ye would have believed me.
You would have believed me. I was the one that was spoken about in the prophets, in the Torah, in the Psalms. You want to believe. You want to know it was me.
God.
Right? Go back to Deuteronomy. Oh, there's more.
For he wrote of me.
Right?
But if ye believe not his writings,
if you don't believe what Moses was saying right here, read.
How shall ye believe my words?
You're not even going to believe his words. What he's telling you in the New Testament. I'm sorry? Deuteronomy 34:10.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 34 and verse 10. And there arose not a prophet since in Israel,
right,
like unto Moses.
So there was no prophet that was able to compare him to Moses, dealing with the Most High face to face, dealing with our people, right? Read.
Whom the Most High knew face to face.
So the Most High knew face to face. Read. That's it.
Yeah.
Up into Yahushua. There was no prophet that could compare him to Moses up into Yahushua. Yahushua was on a whole other level.
Yeah, the reason why I asked him to go there because a lot of times when people read Deuteronomy 18 and 15, a lot of times the Old Testament, they teaching people that's talking about Joshua, right? That's why we went to these scriptures just to prove to you it's not talking about Joshua, it's talking about Yahushua. Yahushua was prophesied to come from Genesis, like he said earlier, all the way to Revelation, right? So his prophecy is here and it's real. That's who we worship. Khan? All right. That's what actually right there in Deuteronomy 34 and 10. That's what Joshua was writing. You know, he was humbling himself. He wasn't talking about himself. He was talking about Yahushua. That's going to come. Nobody's going to rise like Moses. They be unto Moses that the Most High spoke face to face. So he's talking about the coming of Yahushua.
Let me get one more precept before I break. Luke 24:44.
The book of Luke, chapter 24 and verse 44. Luke 24 and verse 44. And he said unto them, these are the words which I spake unto you, while I was yet with you, that all things must be fulfilled.
So Yahushua is saying like, yo, these are the things I'm going to tell you before I go and depart. Everything that's written about me, everything got to happen. All the prophecies got to happen that's written about me, that's referencing me. Deuteronomy 18:15, that happened. He came. That happened already. But there's still hundreds of prophecies that have to be fulfilled. Read.
Which were written in the law of Moses.
Right.
And in the prophets.
In the prophets, him redeeming Israel, him establishing Jerusalem again, him putting his nations in check under us. Read.
And in the Psalms.
And in the Psalms.
Concerning me.
Concerning who?
Concerning me.
Concerning the Mashiach Yahushua. So we just finished the Torah portion, Deuteronomy 33 verse. Deuteronomy chapter 33 and chapter 34. Let's give the Most High a round of applause. All praises to the Most High. We can take a break right now. Are you on FaceTime?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's 3 o'clock, so we're going to take the break. But please make sure everyone comes back because we got to do a list. We go around the room and see what everyone's bringing this evening because this evening is the closing of the tabernacles. We were planning to do it outside, but a couple of things happened out there. We weren't able to do that, so we're going to do it here. So we'll after your lunch, we'll come back. We'll go around the room and write the list and see who's bringing what. Okay? All right. Hallelujah.
the whole family.